What's going on, guys? King Strats here, back into the video on the channel, and welcome back to another episode of Cravings with a little bit of a twist. Third time in 3 weeks that we have been back in the kitchen with a kind of semi-homemade meal, if I'm being honest, but I had a craving about halfway through my day where I wanted some form of Chinese food, but I didn't want like the heavy Chinese food. It's a little hot outside, when you eat a lot of salt and stuff like that, it kind of gets to you, so I made my own healthier version. I say that in quotes because health is subjective, but what I did was I made my cauliflower stir fry, which is what you see on the left. I got a little shot of it because once I start cooking, bro, it's hard for me to be filming all this stuff. Like, I'm not a cooking channel. I just not what I do. But it is cauliflower with mixed vegetables, which I season like I would make fried rice. The only difference is there's no rice whatsoever in this dish. There's cauliflower. Also got some shrimp in here as well, the colossal joints, the big dogs, because they was on sale. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know I like my sales. So we have some fried rice, and I want some chicken wings and fried rice kind of meal, kind of like the OG, what I used to get when I first started eating fried chicken. Okay, kind of cap. French fries was first, this was second. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all. So I had these Walmart wings. I was on stream the other day and I was talking about these pecan smoked wings from Walmart, which I reviewed a long time ago. And somebody was like, oh, don't eat it, got additives in it and all this other stuff. So I said, I'm finna buy it. That's, I wish I was making that up. So I did buy them. $10 for this big dog pack of these pecan smoked wings. If you say pecan, I love you, that's fine. It don't matter to me, but I pronounce it pecan. But anyway, these cost $10 and you just cook them like you would in an air fryer oven or whatever. They are uncooked, so please don't microwave these. They're not anytizers, nothing like that. They're not cooked, so you do have to cook them longer. So it was like 40 minutes because I like my wings personally with a little more of a crunch to them. I like a well-doneness to it. I don't like soggy wings. That's just my thing. And I got a little bit of ranch here, and there's some mumbo sauce on there, which you can't see because it was like the last remnants of the one that I had. So that's what's on there, and that is the agenda. Also found these in 7-Eleven, the Ruffles limited edition, the honey habanero wings. Wings. It's a long name, man. Chips. Those are chips. Those are not wings. But I'm going to review those at the end of my meal. If anyone wants to bookmark that, please, by all means. I'm not trying to hold nobody up. But these have been out for a while, but I never see them. All I see is the Tatums. They had no more Tatums, but they had these. So I said, okay, let's do that. So that is what's on the agenda. Drop a thumbs up. Drink a choice today. We got the Sam's Cola. Y'all already know that poverty cola. I don't care. These are $3 for 12 of them. And when they bring the Coca-Cola Zero up to like $8 for 12, 36 of these $9. Y'all do what y'all want with it. But that's the lineup. That's the meal. I'm super ready for this. I'm gonna get right into these wings. Alright, you can head on out, player. I got my Miles Morales popcorn tin holding this up. One of the worst things, bro, having a whole food up and stuff like that, propping food. Anyway, let's get into these wings, man. Let me get this one. I like the drums. I'm team drum. There are some wings in here too, wingettes as they call them, but should have a nice little crust on these. These are so good to me. To me. They have a smoky wood taste. Pause. People think, oh, these are going to taste like pecans. It's pecan smoked. They don't taste like pecans. Just so you know. It's got a very woodsy, smoky kind of taste to it that I love these. And for what... Damn. Excuse me. Hold on, player. For what you pay for them, they're fantastic. Fantastic. Honestly, for what you don't pay for them. Especially if you could season them up a little bit. I like the mumbo sauce on there. And then we got, oh, that's hot. You can see, can you see the smoke? It looks like it's smoking. Yeah. If you don't know how to make fried rice, I have made a few instructional videos that are back on like my cooking videos from way back when. There's a cooking playlist on my channel. And it's on there, but more or less, oyster sauce, soy sauce, seasonings. You need a little bit of oil. Personally, I use cooking spray because I don't use oil. And I have some egg whites. I don't have whole eggs in mine. And just fry it up and stir it up, man. I have a wok. It does work better in a wok, but you don't need the wok. It's just going to come out better if you do. Just a heads up. They're hot though. Like almost too hot for me. I don't like when my food's too hot. A lot of y'all do. I don't. Some of y'all like when y'all food be smoking like this, but got the big dog shrimp. You could take the tails off. They are peeled and deveined, but I was too lazy. I don't even know what time it is. Long day. Maybe one day I will do the whole, like, quit your job and quit. I can't do it, though. I'm enjoying everything too much. Except for how hot that is. I am. I'm one of those people, I don't like idle time. Like, I love being busy. I always have things to do, and I'm always on the go. Now, technically speaking, because I don't have an employer, I hate these words, but it's the truth. There's no other way to say. I mean, you can call it a business owner. I hate the word entrepreneur. I just think it sounds cringy. But the type of person I am, I don't take days off. I work 7 days a week. Even in things that I consider doing spare time, it's still work. Things I do in my spare time, I game. I now do that on Twitch. I like movies. When I go to the movies, I now incorporate reviews into my content. There's nothing that I do that it's like not work no. Even when I go out with my friends, I incorporated that by adding my best friend into my live stream so that I could still have some form of work. I'm a weird person, man. And it's definitely a life choice that's not for everyone. Some people enjoy hustling for a certain amount of times in a day. Say you're a person that works like a job. I don't like the term 9 to 5, but I'm going to use it just so you get what I'm saying. But, you know, a person that has a job where you're on the clock and then you're off the clock. And usually with those types of jobs, not always, there are jobs that aren't like this, but the majority of people, when they go to work, they're in work mode. Kinda, because look, I've worked a 9 to 5 before. I mean, you be at work, but sometimes you don't be at work. Like, I wasn't always at work. But your mind is in a work setting. You're working. When it's time to go, whether you get off at 5, you can get off at 3 a.m., no matter what your shift is, you tend to, okay, I'm done with that. Hit that clock, or whatever time card, whatever. Then you're done. You go home, and you're off doing your leisure stuff. You know, some people spend time with their family, their wife, their kids, their friends, whatever. Turn the game on. You get what I'm saying? Okay. You need to stop being so damn hot. The food, not me. I'm just kidding. But I didn't like that type of lifestyle personally. When you have a business or when you have a job that is not within time constraints, you work on your own terms. In other words, what usually ends up happening is you end up working more hours than you do when you work on a time clock. This is Ranch, the brand. I'm going to say this slowly just in case people don't hear me because I know I talk fast, so let me slow it down. I should have brought it with me, but I didn't. It was here last time. It's called Bolt House Farms. It is a yogurt-based ranch, and it has a third of the calories that normal ranch has. Normal ranch has about 120 calories per serving, which is usually 2 tablespoons. Sometimes it's 1. This has 40 calories for 2 tablespoons. So you get a lot more out of it, and as you can see, it is measured out so that I know how much I'm eating. I hope I said that slow enough. I know I talk fast. But I personally never stop working. Like, even when I'm not working, I'm working. My brain is still on work, if that makes sense. First I was working in the fitness industry. I worked at gyms. But then when I got my own place, the thought of leaving work ended. And even when I wasn't working, I was thinking of ways to improve the business. I was thinking of things to do with clients. I was researching. I was, whether corresponding with somebody and emails and things. I always had my phone on me. So it could be 3 o'clock in the morning and I was still working. But what I found personally is, get this tail off, bro. I thrive more in environments like that than like structured environments where you do this way, the way they tell you, how they tell you, whenever. I never did well in that. So it's a little more stressful because you don't really get a break from it. But I don't know. I think I'm just a glutton for punishment because I like the stress. I never like when things are too quiet, which is not necessarily the best thing, but it's not the worst thing for me. So when I felt like I had a good grasp on things, 2020 happened and I couldn't work. And because I was so bored, I said, okay, I'm going to start doing YouTube videos. At the time, it was a hobby, which I enjoyed doing, and it gave me purpose, it gave me something to do. Then, obviously, things started to do a little bit better. I started to do a little bit more content. You know, I'm adding in the other social media, Instagram, YouTube, so on, TikTok, and things are great. But then, 2020 is over, time to go back to work with the business, and now I have 2 jobs. 2 full-time jobs. So I never really get a break from, there's a paper towel here, by the way, I'm not just putting it on my desk, from that work-related stuff. But I've never been happier. It's been about 2 years since I've been doing both regularly. And sometimes I'm tired. You probably see bags in my eyes half the time. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I prefer this lifestyle. I was up yesterday at 5 o'clock in the morning. I had to respond to emails. I had to get my stuff ready for the workday and the day job. I had to get my stuff ready for, I had to do a couple of different things, which I can't really talk about because they make you sign NDAs. But I got some things in the works in the background, which I've kind of alluded to, which required filming in different locations. So I've been running around like a chicken with no head all day. And I didn't get home till like, what time is it? 11:30. I didn't get home till about 10:30. And the crazy part is, most people when they get home after a long day of work, I was at it for about 10 hours. They'd be like, you know, I finally get to go to bed. Me, my brain is still working in overdrive. And I'm like, I think I'm going to cook today. Because I want Chinese food anyway. And most of the restaurants are already closed. But I think I'm just built that way. One of the most like boring times I've ever had in my entire life was 2020. And it wasn't because I had nothing to do. There wasn't even the like not go outside part. I was like, what am I doing all day? Even when you could go back outside a little bit, I just felt like I was like, you should be doing something. And I wasn't. And it drove me crazy. Which is kind of a blessing in disguise because it turned into this. Obviously not the circumstances that started this, but the fact that if I didn't have time to sit down and go, okay, what am I going to do? I'm sorry for that. This is why I use plastic forks, by the way. Because the noise of the spoon or fork when it's metal that hits my mouth or plates can be unpleasant for some people, and I understand that. But I already had a metal spoon, it is what it is. I'm going to ask you guys a question for real. Are you the type of person that prefers the structure or the not structure? I got good grades in school, like all the way through college. I wasn't ever the type of person that like studied a lot. I really rarely, like all the way from kindergarten through grad school, studied, like sat down and like had the flashcards and the notes, and I never did that. And I got in trouble by my teachers all the way through high school because I couldn't do things their way. I never could. Nor that I want to. But I found it pointless. I know this is crazy saying it out loud because you're like, what do you mean? But I'll give you an example. When I was in like the 4th grade, my teacher ended up calling my parents because they said I was doing bad in school because they said I didn't do the work leading up to this big project. And I didn't know how to explain it to my parents because they didn't really understand at that time either. And she called home and said that I was in danger of failing a class because how they structured the project was you had to hand in like these steps that they made you do it step by step. And I was like, I can just do this whole thing now. So I would get in trouble because I was like, why would I do it this way? I always was a smartass in that. I wasn't trying to be a smartass. I was just like, why would you do it this way if I have a more efficient way? And I'll be fine. And I got in trouble for that kind of stuff all the time. I used to do like math problems, you know, in the book, and the teachers thought I was stealing people's work because I would just write the answer down. You know, I wouldn't do like the steps that they did because I like when I do like, and I'm not the complicated math, which I can, but you're talking 4th grade math, so it's simple, you know, 10 times 4, or, you know, 38 times 52, or 92 plus 51. But I would see the problem in my head, and it's funny because they teach it this way now. I would do it like in a broken down way that I couldn't explain back then. Like, they do math this way now. I found this out. You say you did like 72 plus 54. In my head, I would do 70 plus 50, like backwards, because they teach you to carry the one. I would do it backwards, so I do 70 plus 50 and then 2 plus 4 and then add the numbers. It was just easier. But I couldn't explain that back then. You gotta think, this is like the 90s, the late 90s, whatever time it was, but back then we were all taught by boomers who were taught to do it a certain way. If you didn't do it that way, you were considered like wrong. So I couldn't. And it would get me in trouble with projects, with everything. And then, like the day before a project, I would just do the whole thing in one shot. And I hand it in, and they'd be like, oh, if you only applied yourself, this is brilliant. You know, I have to give you a B because I have to take away this many points because you didn't show the steps. So I ended up with like an 88 instead of like a 96, you know, with the number system. And I was like, why would you take points away if I did it anyway? I never understood it. And it would happen all the time. So I'd always end up with like low A's, high B's, because I couldn't show my work the way they wanted me to. The funny part is when I got to college, they didn't care. So I never got in trouble for it. College, I had a 3.2, 3.3, like the whole time, because they didn't care how you did your work, just do it. And the younger curriculum is so structured that they wanted you to do it in a certain way. And I just didn't have the facilities for that. So the structure of class never really did much for me. You know, they would tell you to read a chapter, I'd have it done in like 10 minutes and I'd be doing something else and the teacher would yell at me. They always made me sit next to the teacher because I always had something to say, so I was that student that like sat by the teacher's desk because she didn't even want to deal with me. I was always that person. Every one of them little parent-teacher conferences we would have, they'd be like, oh, he's very smart, but I just feel like he didn't, like, just shut up, lady. That'll be my head. But I get it, you know, you do what you're taught. But I've always liked to think outside of the box when it comes to stuff. And I just feel like workplace, the general workplace environments, they're not conducive to that. They want you to do it their way. And the older I got, the more I became, I don't want to do it your way. So I just said, okay, I'm going to do it my way. And then I ended up not working for people anymore. Because my brain just is messed up. Not messed up in a bad way. But I don't know if anybody else had problems like that. But I always did. I just dipped this in ranch. Whatever. But I always had problems like that. Like, that's why I was so glad when I was done with school. Because I was like, I don't want to go back. When you get to grad school, it's much more of like, just get it done. We don't care how you do it. Just don't. Hell, they even kind of let you plagiarize. And now, they got all this AI stuff anyway that they tell you not to use, but you're going to use it. I would use it. Why wouldn't you use it? It'll make your work much shorter. The old saying goes, work smarter, not harder. I don't know if y'all remember this. I don't know how old y'all are. I don't know when they stopped doing this. But I always remember, like, in math classes and stuff like this, you know, the teacher would be like, oh, yeah, because I would get in trouble because I would go like, why can't I use a calculator? And they would say things like, are you going to be able to use a calculator in the real world? Well, fast forward some years later, and the answer is yes. Like, when in the real world am I going to have to solve for y on an axis in a plane using the Pythagorean theorem? And look, shout out to Pythagoras, bro, but I've never used it. Okay, I still remember it. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Cool. That's it. Waste of memory. Unless I'm playing Jeopardy. And they was, oh, no, we can't use calculators. In the real world, you're not going to use calculators. They used to always make us do things like in the register. They'd be like, oh, well, John went to the store and bought milk and it cost $1.38. He has $5. How much change did he get back? When I went to the store, even as a damn kid, I put it in, boop, 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 the buttons pop up. I know how to subtract, but I don't need to spend a whole month doing this. We got calculators. They're not going to go out of business. And it's like, what if the register breaks? Then use a calculator. What if the calculator breaks? Get another one. I don't know. I hope they're still doing that to y'all with the kids. I think, personally, there's structures that should be... You have to teach people how to do something somehow. But if somebody has a different way, but they're still getting to the same answer, I feel like the smarter thing is a teacher, personally. I'm not a teacher. I never have been. I can't tell anybody how to teach. Just to ask them how they come to that. How they get that. I just feel like school in general, and school is good, okay? Don't think I'm saying school is bad. School is good. You need school. School, most college, it teaches you how to be an employee. But if you're not an employee, it doesn't prepare you for what you really need. And school in general doesn't really prepare you for what you need anyway, because it doesn't teach you half the things you need to know, especially in the U.S. I don't know how it is in other countries, but I'm sorry for this scraping. We need to get all these gains, though. They don't teach you how to build credit. That's more important than damn near anything they teach you. It's definitely more important than chemistry. Okay? How many people off the top of their head can tell me 15 elements off the periodic table? Or what the periodic element name is for gold? Is it AU? I think it's AU. Who gives a shit? Nickel? FE? I'm like, my point is, I don't really remember, but it doesn't matter. Potassium is K, right? I'm not going down periodic table. Y'all understand what I'm talking about. And you taught me half my life that Pluto was a planet, and now it's not a planet. So in my head, Pluto's always there, but it's not supposed to be. Nah, I'm just playing. But seriously, school is important, but it teaches you not everything that you need. A high school education should teach you how to be a person outside of high school. And it doesn't teach you things like I said, credit, taxes, financing. It teaches you basic stuff because they teach you math problems. They don't teach you why you're financing. Most people don't know what APRs are, or prime rates are, or principal versus interest. Just basic stuff, and you don't know until someone outside of college teaches you. And this is going to sound a little bad, but please don't misquote me when I'm saying this. But when I was in school, about halfway through my high school, they got rid of a class called home economics, right? And for people who don't know, that might be younger than me, home economics basically taught you stuff like cooking, basic stuff, like doing laundry, sewing. And anybody could take it. It wasn't like a this class is for women type of stuff. It was for everybody. And then halfway through, they got rid of it. But I feel like that was more damn important than a lot of things that we had, because you know how many people can't, like, do their own laundry? Or like bake? Or like, any, like, you know, like, when you get to your home, I've met so many people over the years, whether that was in college or even, like, now, that couldn't do basic, like, home stuff. Like, learning how to properly disinfect things. I've seen some of y'all toilets. Like, this is important stuff, like you know, wood shop and changing a tire and oil. Like, I know they teach it to some people, but that stuff to me is more important than anything. Yet, you know, I'm solving trigonometry. I need 3 years of algebra. I hope it's still not like that. But if it is, that's stupid. You know how many people are like, look, ask most people that are somewhere about around 30 or above, and they will tell you that in their 20s, somewhere along the line, they maxed out a damn credit card and then spent the next 5 years trying to fix it. Because they didn't even know what the hell they were doing. They didn't understand how credit worked. Until somebody came along and tried to explain to them, hey, this is how credit works. Don't do that. So I'm just telling you, bro. So, I don't know. I don't know how we just got the curriculum. But I want to try these chips right quick. So, let me hop into that. We got the Ruffles Honey Habanero. I found these at 7-Eleven. A lot of people have had these chips and they love them, but a lot of you, surprisingly, when I was looking through my comment section, had never had these before. I'm talking Instagram and TikTok for people who don't know. You know, a lot of times I posted my stories on Instagram and people are like, oh, I never had those, and other people are like, oh, these are amazing. So I'm gonna give you my take on these. I love me some Pringles because they are the home of the #2 chip in my life, which is the J. Tatum's, the Flamin' Hot Barbecue Ruffles. Hot chips are always my thing. Honey Habanero. Let's try these out. I'm not gonna hold y'all. Y'all know how I get down. Here we go. A little sweet. Here comes the heat. Ooh. Nah, these are good. Oh yeah. When you first bite into them, you get a very distinct honey taste. Very. The Tatum's for me are like a 9-8. I love them. But these, probably my second favorite Ruffle I've had off the top of my head, which is saying something. I would give these a 9.4 out of 10. Rotational. Keep these in rotation. Don't get rid of these. Ruffle. Frito-Lay, who makes these? Right, Ruffles made by Frito-Lay. Hey, don't get rid of the Tatum's. Don't get rid of these. I approve. Okay, that is going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We had some weird conversations like we always do whenever I cook, which is why some of y'all really enjoy those types of videos, which I get. It's a big reason why I stream now, so that I can do those videos even when I have to do review type of content or blogging type of content where I don't get to talk. So people, and I get that not everybody can make it to those, but that was my thought in mind, because I know the content has kind of shifted in that dynamic, because I have to personally do what's best for the channel above anything. But I'm gonna try, and I mean it with emphasis, try, because I'm being honest. I've said this, the views on these absolutely tank compared to anything else that I do, nearly every single time. And at the end of the day, this is how I make a living. So I have to do what's best for the channel and what most of the audience wants to see. But I do appreciate the people that watch these types of videos. You're the person that's still watching because it's way into the video. So I enjoy it. I do hate cooking, but I'm going to try. When I get in the mood for something, I might try to make things every now and then. I do like chilling and chopping it up. With that being said, what time is it? 11:48. I'm going to start streaming in like 10 minutes, bro. That's how crazy the schedule is. Once I clean this all up and clean myself up, I'm hopping right on stream. That's the life I chose, man, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to have the opportunity to do these things that I love. Because without you, none of this would be what it is and working where it is work. So don't think for a second that that doesn't dawn on me or mean anything to me, because it absolutely does. I love your faces, man, but we'll be back tomorrow. More content, man. I love y'all. The hand signs, they made it to YouTube.